Hey ghouls and gals, welcome back to my channel. My name is Taylor and today's video is going to be a list of book recommendations for people who want some liminal space horror or who are fans of the Backrooms. Now, this is part 2 of the book recommendations. I already have a video where I go over 5 Backrooms book recommendations, so I will leave that linked down below for y'all to check out. But these are 5 more books. If you love liminal spaces, if you love Backrooms, if that type of horror is super effective to you. So let's just go ahead and get started. These are 5 books that I really enjoyed and I really feel like fit the vibes and the creep factor of what people are looking for when they are looking for books that are read-alikes to the Backrooms. So this first one's kind of an honorable mention almost because it is not horror, but I think it fits liminal spaces so perfectly, and that would be Piranesi by Susanna Clarke. I absolutely love this book. This book is such a weird book. I know that's like a phrase that gets thrown around a lot, but this one is just such an intriguing concept and I've never read another book like it. We're following our protagonist. He lives in this very strange house. The house is constantly changing. It has a bunch of rooms. The narrator doesn't remember anything about his past, but he remembers that he is supposed to chronicle the house, explore the house, and uncover what is in every single room of the house. And as he is chronicling this labyrinth of a house, he starts to wonder, how was he put here? Why was he put here? Was he anyone before, or was he just doomed to an eternity of exploring this seemingly endless house? Now, this one is definitely more fantasy. It's not horror at all, but I do think this is a beautiful, very eerie little read. You start in on this book and you get description and you're just really thrown into the action and you're like, what is happening here? I do not understand, but in a really good way. And as you start to explore the house and the environment with our main character, it does still get a little unsettling because there's just something about so many empty rooms with little to nothing in them, and just the fact that Piranesi thinks that he is alone in this labyrinth that makes for a very interesting read. So this one is not horror, but if you are looking for like a Neil Gaiman-esque type of fantasy story about a labyrinth and a mysterious house and our protagonist being just as lost as you as the reader, this is a very interesting, compelling read about liminal spaces. Now, these next 4 book recommendations are all going to be horror, and the next one is The Langoliers by Stephen King. This is one of the short stories in the collection 4 Past Midnight. This is the specific story that I'm talking about, The Langoliers. And while I would recommend this short story collection overall, The Langoliers is something that you can seek out and find on its own. I searched through my own Libby library and you can read it as a standalone ebook, and you can also read it as a standalone audiobook. And I would recommend the audiobook. It is narrated by Willem Dafoe and he does such a good job. It really elevates the creep factor. He is such a wonderful narrator and it really adds more to the story. I hope that he narrates more horror audiobooks in the future because it was such a great reading experience. But The Langoliers is about a group of people. They're all on the same flight. The flight takes off per usual, and all of a sudden everyone on the plane except for a handful of people disappear, and these people have to figure out why they are on this plane, why they did not disappear, why everyone else disappeared, and if they end up landing, which they may or may not, where are they? Where did they land, and where are they, and how can they get back to where they were going? So this one features several like backroomsy type scenarios. You have the uncanny valley of a near empty airplane that is in the air. That's very terrifying, very eerie, because you think of airplanes, there's a lot of hustle and bustle, and then also you have a lot of scenes in an empty airport, and that is another very backroomsy liminal space. It's very uncanny valley. This does a great job of exploring places that are usually so bustling and so full of life, and slowly showing that dread that happens when you are somewhere you're not supposed to be, but that somewhere that you're not supposed to be is somewhere that should feel very familiar to you. So while this is a great short story collection, overall The Langoliers is the one you want to look for those liminal space horror vibes. My next recommendation for y'all is a graphic novel novel. That would be Dead Mall by Cesare. It is illustrated by David Stoll and Justin Birch, and this is a graphic novel about a group of teenagers. They break into an abandoned mall just for, you know, teen stuff. They want to hang out, they want to drink, they want to have a little party in this abandoned mall, but the kicker is this abandoned mall, not so abandoned, and the things that live in the mall are going to now be after these children. From the get-go, this mall is a creepy place. If you Google images of Backrooms, you're probably going to find a lot of images of abandoned malls because there's something so creepy about something that used to be bustling with life, used to have a lot of people, used to be a place where people hang out, and now it's just completely abandoned. So that is creepy, but as the teens continue on through the night, through their night of partying, they start to realize that they are not the only people or the only things in this mall, and the way that this mall changes around, it's a little bit cosmic. It really adds to that scare factor. This does a lot of fun things with body horror in terms of these slashers and how the characters get slashed. Cesare is a really great like YA slasher writer. He's known for the Clown in the Cornfield series, but I had a lot of fun reading this one, and this is definitely going to give you those Backrooms vibes. The next book recommendation that I have is We Used to Live Here by Marcus Kliewer, and this one is everywhere this year. I see so many people reading this one, but if you haven't already picked it up and loved it, I would recommend it here because this book was initially blurbed as Get Out meets Parasite, and I do not think that this does this story any justice at all. I would recommend this to fans of House of Leaves, or not even fans of House of Leaves, because I actually did not love House of Leaves, but I did really enjoy this one. But for someone who is looking for a House of Leaves experience, this is going to be a great book for you. So this follows a couple, and they are renovating this house with a sort of interesting past, but you know, this couple, they want to renovate, they're gonna flip it, they're gonna sell it, they're gonna be in, be out, make a nice profit, move on with their lives. However, one day there is a knock at the door and there is a family there, and the man says that this is the house that he used to grow up in, and they were just in the neighborhood, they were passing by. Is it okay if they take a sneak peek inside, because he just wants to show his kids and his wife the house where he grew up? So this couple decides, okay, sure, a little weird of a request, but not a sinister one. But as soon as they let the family inside the house, weird things start happening inside the house, and potentially Eve, who is our main character, Eve's reality starts to twist a little bit. So this one is a great haunted house story, but more specifically a liminal space story. The way that this one plays with place and time and location, and again, unsettling vibes of being somewhere that's supposed to be familiar. Eve knows this house inside and out. She and her wife are renovating it, but little things start changing day by day, and she has to wonder if she's potentially losing it, or perhaps the house is something much more than a house. So I really loved this one, and I really do think it's a great recommendation for people who are looking for liminal spacey type of horror. And the final book recommendation that I have for y'all today is the newest release. It just came out this week as I'm filming this video, and that would be Coup by Sofia Ajram. This one is so chilling. It's a novella. It's a perfectly paced novella, but it's definitely going to give you those Backrooms vibes. That's why I'm including it on this list. But we follow our main character, Vicken, and he is unfortunately deciding to end his life. So he gets on the subway. He is going to take the subway to his destination, get off, and there complete his plans. However, when he gets off at his stop, it is not his stop. It is a infinite subway station with rooms upon rooms upon rooms, and it is a labyrinth of a subway station, and there is no way to get out. And more chilling, it seems like our main character may not be alone in this subway station. So this one is very unsettling. It's also very emotional, obviously, with that synopsis having to deal with our main character grappling with suicidal ideation and thinking about ending his own life. But we do have a really good blend. Like I mentioned at the very beginning of this recommendation, this is a perfectly paced novella. I liked what this did with the concept. I feel like if this would have been a full-length novel, it potentially would not have had like the emotional impact and the pacing that it does. But the way that the the subway is described, this infinite subway, these Backrooms subway spaces are very creepy, very unsettling, and our main character is not only haunted by this creepy environment, but also his own thoughts and internal dialogue. So this one gets like very sentimental at times, very like bleak in terms of emotional impact. So just know that trigger warnings for this one. Like this is very, very heavily talks about mental health and depression and wanting to end it all. So know that going in. Don't be blindsided by that, because this does take up a large point of this book. But the fact that Vickin is struggling with that and then also struggling with this horrific situation he's found himself in, I just think this is such a unique novella. It's really a great example of a book that is about the Backrooms, because it's very creepy, very unsettling. It has that isolated, empty feeling, but also with some iterations of the Backrooms where you have potentially, if you clip into the Backrooms, you are not alone. So that is the last recommendation that I have for y'all today. These were 5 liminal space Backrooms fantasy and horror books that I really loved. Thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what is your favorite liminal space horror. Subscribe to my channel for all of the bookish, cozy gaming, and horror content. Stay safe, stay spooky, and I will see y'all in the next video. Bye!